Okay, so if it comes up, it's because I'm leaving it and I'm just going to these two done. This won't be like that. I don't know why I'm doing this, so. I mean, just maybe, okay, this, then an SCP thing, then I'll have my animation fine now. Anyway, let's just. I'm not going to ask what I'm reacting to. It's by Marvel Entertainment, the people who made Puppy Playtime, so if you want to react to it, if you want me to react to more stuff like this, let me know, and then I can probably start a heck of a series of this. Oh, so I don't.
We've got eyes on 1170. He's heading south along the utility vehicle route. What exactly do we do here?
I'm making this at nearly 10. I'm a bed. Anyway.
Okay, give us a sec. We're gonna try and cut him off at the crossing up ahead. Keep him from getting onto public roads. Keep tailing him for now, and keep us updated.
Okay, it's over there. It's 10:27 p.m. 6/18/92. Experiment. Oh, okay. Why an emergency alarm? Who knows? What the? I think they got too much slow motion. Please do not say this is audio. Please. Oh, well, fuck you, I'll get it out for us. All available security staff. Stated before. 2.5 miles from the facility. So, it says we stick here the audio. Okay. Hold on. That theory about. Wait, when does that mean? Hours ago, and it was made a day ago. I'll look at this, but this might be why is this Huggy is back.
Okay, we see him. Brace yourselves, everyone.
Who do you see? Awful. Okay, that's not real life, because unless someone just got like, unless there's a camera in the car. That makes more sense if that is real life. Because the video I found it on. I mean, here. Yeah, excuse me. Harson's is here. Huggy Wuggy is outside our house. No, you probably played everything. What was the other found? How do we go down? Yeah, it's just been used and all that. Besides that emergency tape. I don't know anything about it. There's no mistake they could make it because of what they did. And what? Oh god. Let's see his reaction after. Okay, I'll do that after. Security team splits into small groups and continues after one third. Okay, it's going to swap, isn't he? Search expands over 4 square miles. Oh gosh. 10:50 p.m. to... What is that? Outside. I know why I thought that was him. I'm expecting them to scale something like that with. Yeah, I'm expecting the dump scale like. Guessed it. What? Doing so. Okay, but why is there a censored block? Is this something to do with blood? Don't tell you the passcode. Why is the tree censored? Maybe. Don't do the girls, who knows? I don't know. Right, I know censored stuff just because 5 dead, 6 missing. It takes nearly 4 hours to relocate and... Okay. Let's read this. Yeah, I would not be happy if someone escaped. You know, I just give it as I thought. Oh, tired of dinks it. 19. 6 and 19. 19th. Oh, the 6th month, so 3 months after my birthday. Okay, my birthday's not on the 19th though. Mine is in March 1992. It ended up with. What the? Okay, before we click on it, what is this? I'm not asking.
Hobby Playtime just released.
Yeah, that. We opened lost the key. I got it to these 3 people. Mob Entertainment, Sleep, what? I can't say it. And Booty Mike.
A brand new teaser that I think is for Chapter 3, revealing tons of lore.
Yeah, I think so.
Secrets that I was not expecting. This is a big one. So basically, yesterday, the Mob Games channel dropped a new video, the first one since the
I just found that out.
launch of Project Playtime, and it's just titled Restricted Disappearance June 18th, 1992. And in the video, we could see a car driving around searching
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
for experiment 1170 being Huggy Wuggy, and then the video cuts to some security footage of Huggy Wuggy leaving the factory through an open delivery bay door. Then we see the original car pull up to Huggy before they are viciously attacked by him,
Oh gosh.
smashing the window.
YouTube. Just please don't copyright me. Please, I do not know if I'm meant to. Okay. I don't do anything. Yeah, let's react to all these.
Where following a bunch of shots were seen coming by the car, which were said to be tranquilizer shots attempting to put Huggy Wuggy to sleep. However, despite landing one in his leg, he ran away successfully around a railroad crossing, as they say. Now, after this, we see a couple different forest security camera angles that show little pop-ups of Huggy in his silhouette, followed then by a map of the outside of Playtime Co., which is huge.
I think I'll look into these next one. I'll just stick to these 2.
And we can see that the regular factory is right here, with the just mentioned railroad tracks being here.
Oh, That's what they are.
Here, and all the other areas outside of the red are apparently residential areas where Huggy is said to have escaped to. Then after this, we get a live shot of somebody exploring the forest on foot, finding a dead moose, which I have to blur so the video doesn't get taken down.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
And during this exploration,
I just know how YouTube is. To know they deal with dead animals. So.
if we look closely, we can see Huggy hiding throughout the trees in little ways while the cameraman looks around fearfully, only being followed by Huggy Wuggy going in and jumping at the cameraman before the video cuts off. We are then shown images of the bodies of Huggy's victims, which have also been blurred, but they are definitely an interesting sight to see. Then afterwards, we are shown images.
Oh. I was quick by saying the bodies, though. Okay.
Of all the victims, and none of them look recognizable, so I'd assume these are all stock images of some sort. However, after this, we get a really mysterious clip that sounds like somebody screaming or something really weird. And we are then told they successfully, after 4 hours, sedated Huggy Wuggy and recaptured him.
Oh, how many people would have died then?
Before showing a response from Leith Pierre, where he describes his distress in this situation, saying the innovation department is not happy and that he was not happy as well. Then to end this
Makes sense.
VHS off, we are shown one final shot at 3:38 a.m. on June 19th, showing a lurking Huggy Wuggy standing outside of somebody's house before the video abruptly ends.
Is that a looking Huggy? Oh.
So yeah, there's a lot to break down here, but the first thing I sort of want to talk about is the purpose of this video. What exactly is this video meant to be teasing?
Yeah, that makes sense that he might be in Chapter 3 again.
Well, it obviously could be one of two things. Either it's for Project Playtime, or for Poppy Playtime Chapter 3. The reason some
Or just for a whole thing.
people think it's for Project Playtime is because clearly the focus of this tape is the outside environment. And if you didn't know, there's actually test footage and even a map icon in the files of Project Playtime that shows a Dead by Daylight outdoor style of gameplay, possibly suggesting that this could be the first map expansion in that game. But on the other hand, there's also a lot of evidence to suggest that this is for the long-awaited Chapter 3.
Yeah, we've waited for this so long.
Especially since we know that the developers have told us that they wanted Chapter 3 to be a lot darker than the rest, with them even expressing worry that this game could get so dark that it could be a mature rated game. And this new teaser seems to follow that theme perfectly, since this video literally got age restricted for how dark it is. However,
Wait, did it?
aside, there is clearly a ton of lore inside of this VHS. And the first thing that really stood out to me was this letter from Leith Pierre, where he says that he is supposedly
Monster Legends. As much as I have you, I do not need you in this video yet.
upset with everything that happened. Now, I wouldn't take anything said from this letter here as evidence, because Leith Pierre is a prime suspect to being behind the creation of Huggy Wuggy himself,
True.
and the Bigger Bodies Initiative entirely, which, if you didn't know, was the group responsible.
I feel like the darkness part, I like darkness, might just be the dead bodies. That might be what's mature.
For creating all of these big and scary toys. However, what's interesting is we can see a bunch of cut off text here at the top, which, while unreadable at first, we can use the letters on the note as a reference point to match the letters to each other, and reveal that this phrase at the top simply reads "taken lightly," which most likely is cut off from a sentence saying "we will not take this lightly" or something corporate friendly like that, meaning this part that we're seeing is just the bottom half of the letter, and there's more to the note that we aren't seeing, which is very interesting and maybe something that will get expanded upon in the future. The next interesting thing I wanted to talk about is the map that we see here of the outside of Playtime Co. Like we mentioned,
I think this might be in the project reason.
we could see that Playtime Co. is located here and that there is a railroad crossing here, along with a big red circle surrounding it, which we could assume is all of Playtime Co.'s land since it centers the factory. Now, remember this map because we'll talk about it again in a minute, but for right now, this tells us that Playtime Co. is a very secluded place, because this image, according to the description above, shows 4 square miles of land, meaning that Playtime Co. is over 2 square miles from any other
2.5
form of civilization, which I guess would explain how they're able to get away with everything happening inside of the factory. Furthermore, we can see that the train station is incredibly close to Playtime Co. And while this can't be confirmed, I've seen some people theorizing that this train station is clearly in Playtime Co.'s land, so it's entirely possible that this could be some outdoor train tracks from Playtime Co.'s own train.
What if the first part of the game you can finally escape the land, then after you, and that explains the Huggy thing, I have a theory about how the plot will go. So, you go through some of the ways, like with dating, they're the side characters. And they act like a big bad, but it seems to he's finally escape. It's not the big bad. And the thing I probably want to do is Huggy Wuggy. So, once you go outside, you've got to try to escape Huggy Wuggy. Then, what's chapter 4, it eventually leads you back in and you face the big bad. That's something similar about this story, I think.
I think the biggest question everybody is asking about this is, secrets aside, how does all of this tie into the main Poppy Playtime story? Well, I have a theory of some sorts. So Huggy Wuggy, as
Do you relate with my theory? Please relate with my theory.
we already know inside of the game, has the ability to go rogue and attack the player in chapter 1. However, for the longest time, we wrote it off as him just doing his job, because after all, if you didn't know, he was originally created to be the Playtime co-security
Thank you, video. Thank you.
guard, so it's totally reasonable that he would attack us when we intruded on his property. But what's interesting is that Mommy Longlegs shared a very similar trait where randomly she went rogue and attacked the player too, which felt incredibly off. In fact, when we put these two side by side, we could see
Oh yeah.
when they switch from normal to rogue, they usually get a bit messier, and they also have very dilated pupils. Now, this is something I and others have theorized about a lot in the past. However, this
What have you guys theorized about
new
this?
VHS tape tells us a lot more about what's going on with these toys going rogue. Because something you may have noticed is that throughout the tape, it seems like all of the angles intentionally try to hide his eyes from the viewer's sight. He's always either shown from afar, from behind, or even in some of the jump scares, you can see a shadow over his eyes to directly hide them, which is very weird. So why in the world are they trying to hide his eyes from us? Well, there are a couple frames throughout the entire video where we can actually see what his eyes look like. Once when he's charging the car, and another when he's hanging around in the background of the forest. And
Oh, I did think that was him, but okay.
as we can see when looking at him, his eyes share the same exact dilated nature that we saw when he was angry in chapter 1. But the fact that they seem to try and almost hide this detail makes me feel like this is a really important part to remember in some way. More importantly, I
Maybe my Pat's theory about him being a security thing is wrong. Maybe.
as we've theorized before, the prototype
I know I've got an end.
Experiment 1006 is somehow taking control of these monsters and turning them rogue to retaliate against the factory. We already got a lot of proof that this theory is true inside of Project Playtime with the screenshot of Mommy Longlegs being controlled with her dilated
Oh yeah.
pupils, and also in a VHS tape where a mysterious voice tells us that the bigger bodies initiative will fail. And these things obviously seem to suggest that the prototype is somehow controlling these toys, and not in a bad evil way, but rather to retaliate against all the employees for turning all the orphans into these massive bodies.
Okay, one thing though, why the freak does how to explain this? How the frick? What am I saying? Oh yeah, why did he try to attack survivors outside? Are they Playtime Co? Is the whole world Playtime Co?
However, while we've theorized about this idea time and time again, there has never been any proof about how the monsters retaliated and attacked inside of the factory. Or that is, up until now. Because we could see Huggy Wuggy slip out and escape into the forest all alone and seemingly run around aimlessly, probably because the prototype is controlling him and is hoping that if he runs out into the public, somebody will end up seeing him and reporting him to the police. And in fact, Playtime Co said in the tape that Huggy Wuggy was directly headed towards residential areas where people
Yes. One question though. Why Huggy Wuggy?
would most certainly see him. But despite popular belief, I don't think he went there to go and kill everybody like some type of vicious werewolf.
Then why is everybody dead? Please tell me, Secret Game.
But rather, I think Huggy Wuggy was sent there to spread the word of the experiments going on in Playtime Co. before it was too late. But luckily for Playtime Co., this attempt at spreading the word was unsuccessful. And instead, it was a close call for the company because it was said that Huggy Wuggy was finally found and seized at 3:38 a.m. before anybody could ever see him. In fact, the last videotape in the VHS is also at 3:38, so we could see he was right outside of a home seconds before he was caught. But luckily, they caught him just in time and nobody spotted him. The coast.
Wait, then who's the people who died then? What? Wait. That means they were workers who just got killed out of nowhere. Theory?
It's clear. Or at least that's what it seems like. Because if we look in the left of this video, the light of the house by the window is very visibly turned on, giving the residents inside a perfect view of the horrific monster that lurked outside of their home. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I think could be the beginning of the end for Playtime Co. This residency clearly saw Huggy Wuggy hanging around and probably had all the evidence they needed to put Playtime Co. away. I mean, there's literally a vicious 10-foot tall angry Huggy Wuggy hanging outside of their house. What other proof do you need? It's an interesting theory. However, this then brings up one crucial question. Why did Playtime Co. have a camera set up right next to this house specifically?
Oh yeah, that also makes sense.
And also, while they're at it, the entire forest surrounding the Playtime Co. property. Well, there's a couple theories that I have to
Wait, that's a forest around the Playtime Co. property? Oh, now that makes sense.
answer this. On one hand, you could suggest they were just overprotective and wanted to keep everything under lockdown, which is a fair point. But I also wonder if maybe this isn't the first time a toy in Playtime Co. has escaped like this. Think about it. Maybe the company has had a monster run out before just like this. However, in a similar fashion, they were able to track down the toy and stop them before anything serious happened. And then in response, they decided to put up a bunch of hidden cameras in the forest so they could have eyes on what's going on in case this were to happen once again.
That would make sense. And maybe Huggy is... Hey, maybe Huggy's the most deadliest.
And as for the camera on this one specific house right here, well, possibly if other monsters have escaped the factory before, maybe this one house saw something they weren't supposed to. And so in classic Playtime Co. fashion, they decided to stalk the person to track everything they do and potentially try to silence them in the future. Exactly like what they did to Rowan Stoll in the original ARG, where he...
Oh yeah, well, him. He was so he started to get footing. He led on to their plan. Then, around the end, before he got killed, he changed his mind.
Accidentally came across Huggy Wuggy, and in return, they ended up just killing him. I mean, this Huggy Wuggy incident was less than a year after the Rowan Stoll situation, so it seems to make
Yeah, you have to...
a lot of sense. However, that's just me spitballing ideas that could maybe be expanded upon as more of the teasers get released. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is still a very basic theory with not much backing outside of speculation, and there's still so many questions that we need to get answers about. Where is Elliot Ludwig during all of this? Why did the toy's eyes go thick when connected?
Okay, I probably kind of had a failure audio in my head, side probably. Prototype is Elliot. Maybe Elliot Ludwig isn't all this prototype.
To the prototype. What in the world is that scream we hear in the trailer? I'm not exactly sure, but with a lot of...
Maybe it's a threaten to the house owner. If you want to leave to that option.
questions comes a lot of potential answers that I hope will be answered soon. But speaking overall, what does all of this stuff mean for Chapter 3 and the future of Poppy Playtime? Well, honestly, in my opinion, I feel like this confirms to us that Huggy Wuggy will be coming back in the upcoming chapter.
Yes, because, well, maybe the fool made him a crazy fool.
There's clearly more to his story that we're yet to find out about, and also they wouldn't be teasing Huggy Wuggy like this if it was just for no reason. Does this mean he will be the Chapter
Unless it's just to clear like his real life.
3 main antagonist again? Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I guess what?
But, guys, I would heck of a love this. Why? 2 things. His play also, Huggy Wuggy is the cool antagonist.
To wait and see, subscribe, and peace.
Yep, sub to him and also sub to more games. Bye bye, and I will see those 2 videos.